got a ton of innings under his belt either. He hasn't gotten particularly deep in games. Borderline pitch here at the very top of the zone. And that fastball from James Paxton. But there's a real anticipation here, certainly for Braves hitters, as Austin Riley is going back now and realizing the count was indeed 3-1.
Okay. So I wasn't crazy.
Well,
yeah. Take that with a grain of salt. So Paxton still at 22 walks on the season, which still leads Major League Baseball. And now here comes a payoff pitch to Riley. And we'll do another one.
I didn't even notice. I wondered, did the big scoreboard here have it wrong, or was there a pitch that was called to strike maybe that Austin thought was a ball?
Now the big board said 2-2, so it had it right. That is high, and we got where we were originally. A 2-out walk to Austin Riley.
And pretty much the same pitch, right? 94-mile-an-hour fastball. This one was even a little bit higher. And so it cost James Paxton 2 more pitches, but Austin Riley still gets his walk.
After the last start, James Paxton said about the walk issues in the media scrum, he said, I just don't have a lot of feel right now on some of my pitches. It's very frustrating, something he was hoping to correct here today. Matt Olson unlaunches on this thing out to right field, but it does not have enough. And Hernandez catches it on the track. Just warning track power for Matt Olson if we head to the bottom. Sensational starts, and he will look to continue that here today.
And the club bailed him out early, even though he struggled in the first couple. They won both of those. 5-1 in Max Fried's start so far this year. We talked a lot about how good he has been here at Dodger Stadium, and you can see those overall numbers in the 6 starts getting exactly where you'd like them to be, including that whip and that batting average against.
And he gets a strike call to Mookie Betts. The lineup from your local Toyota dealers. Of the same top 3, then Dave Roberts has done some shuffling here on Sunday afternoon. But you begin with the 3 MVPs, Betts, Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman. Two balls and a strike to Mookie Betts, who came into this series, did Betts with the best batting average in Major League Baseball, but 1 for 9 here against the Braves, and so he slipped behind Alec Boehm, who now leads baseball in the batting average category. Just off the outside edge there, 3-1.
And barely 1 for 9, right? The hit that he had in last night's ball game was originally ruled an error, and then it was switched to a hit. That was the pop-up to Ozzie, is that right? Yeah.
And here he takes a free pass to start the bottom of the first. Defense for the Atlanta Braves presented by our friends at Racetrack. Adam Duvall getting the start out in left field. And everything looks the same on the infield. Chadwick Tromp, the battery mate for the veteran Freed. Ohtani. Good series for him. A homer yesterday, 3 runs driven in, all told over the 2 games.
So obviously Max has pitched a lot against the Dodgers and a lot of hitters in this lineup. However, he has never faced Shohei Ohtani.
One of the best pitchers, one of the best hitters square off for the first time here in the first inning of Game 3. This time Max comes home and paints the outside corner with a fastball. So he had that unbelievable complete game, 92 pitches at home against Miami, and then he goes on the road to Seattle. No hitter through 6 innings, gets pulled because he's already at 100 pitches. Unfortunately, the Braves lost that game 2-1. But Max Fried has been really on track over his last couple of starts.
That was a great game up in Seattle with Bryce Miller, and as well as he was throwing, a great pitcher's duel. Unfortunately, the Braves on the short end of the stick, and that was the only start that they've lost so far this season when Max Fried has been on the mound.
Giving a long look at Mookie Betts. Got Ohtani to reach there for the curveball.
Well, dual purposes there when you hold that long. Obviously, Mookie Betts can run the bases really well, but you're also having Shohei Ohtani kind of locked in and standing there and trying to mess with some of that timing with him as well. But Max, we know, has been the best in baseball since he has debuted when it comes to picking off runners at first base.
Ohtani sends this to center field. Michael Harris back at the wall, and it's gone. Ohtani has homered again in the series, and it's 2-0 LA.
Well, he had that 1-2 count. You take a look at this breaking ball. The location is not where Max Fried wanted it. He's ahead in the count. He's trying to get that ball away, trying to get a swing and something off the plate. But the location, that is what gave Shohei Ohtani an opportunity to drive that ball to center field.
And now Freddie Freeman fouls it off. Well, everybody knows how good number 17 in a Dodgers uniform is, and he has shown it again in this series. And he gives the Dodgers a 2-0 lead. And even though he can't pitch this year due to the injury last September, he has made his impact felt as the designated hitter.
It's the other kind of amazing part that we have not talked about yet this series, what he is doing offensively while simultaneously rehabbing that elbow. He's out there throwing on a line the other day and trying to take care of all that rehab that you do coming back from that elbow surgery and then go compete to hit at the high level.
That one slipped out of Fried's hands. Curveball didn't break, and Freddie Freeman trots down to first base.
Now, perhaps a little bit of a feel issue here early on for Max Fried on the breaking pitches. Shohei Ohtani ended up hitting that curveball out to center field, and now there's another curveball here that hits Freddie Freeman, a guy that he has dominated coming into this game. 6 strikeouts in 9 at-bats.
So the last 2 games for Fried, 15 innings scoreless, giving up just 3 total hits. But a different story here today as the first 3 reach, and he's down 2-0. Now Teoscar Hernandez. Fried, of course, a California kid, born and raised in Santa Monica, 2 hours up the coast from LA, depending on the traffic, of course, but born January of 1994 out here. Ground ball. Orlando gets to it, somehow flips it to Ozzie. Amazing that the Braves got 1 out of that, thanks to Orlando Arcia.
He's showing off that great range. We have seen it all season long. Tremendous defense here. That is a tough toss with the glove backhanded while he was sliding. Watch this right here. For that to even be accurate, it's kind of a one-hopper there, but the fact that he was even on the money and there was any chance at all that they were going to turn 2, pretty amazing from Orlando.
He continues his stout defense, and now with 1 away and a man on first, here's Kike Hernandez. So you go from Teoscar Hernandez to the third baseman, Kike Hernandez. We saw Hernandez come off the bench in game 1 of the series. This is his first start this year against Atlanta. Grounder to third. Austin to second for 1. And on to first for the double play. Max Fried bounces back after giving up the homer to Ohtani.
Because, of course, we're going to need some runs here now this afternoon after getting down by 2. But Marcel locked in against the lefties, and you got a lefty who has been struggling this season. So at least on paper, it matches up potentially here for a big afternoon for the Big Bear.
And Marcel is due. He is hitless in this series, 0 for 8. Of course, got off to that torrid start. but he has dipped just a notch below 300 at 299. With that win yesterday, the Dodgers 10-2 in their last 12, and the Braves kind of hitting that first skid of the season, which you're bound to go through over the course of 162. But Atlanta just 2 wins over their last 7 games now. Swing and a miss, 2-2. This ball is fair. It's going to be a long throw for Hernandez. Freeman with a good scoop, and they do get Marcell Ozuna.
You get a little bit of extra time here with Ozuna running, but this is still a really nice play, especially on the back end there by Freddie Freeman. Because of the bounce, you got to play it back, and so that is a long throw for Hernandez, and not an easy pick, but Braves fans certainly familiar in seeing that from Freddie Freeman.
Kike Hernandez appreciates the effort by his first baseman, and now here's Orlando Arcia. So the Braves scuffling a little bit, and look, you're going to go through these stretches. Happened a couple times last year. I think why some people were a little more anxious this season is the lack of offense, with the Braves scoring under 3 runs a game in that 7-game stretch where they've only won 2. But I don't know. I don't know that anybody down in that clubhouse right now is concerned.
They're not. And even listening to Bryce Elder a little bit talk about his outing and maybe some frustration on his part, reminding himself and of course reminding everybody else, it's May 5th today. Right? There's a long way to go. This is a good team. You want to see him dominate all the time. We got spoiled last year watching it.
Hernandez, this play a little bit easier. 2 away.
What'd you say that total number was last year? The amount of days in first place?
185 out of 186.
I mean, that's absurd. So again, that's kind of where we get spoiled as Braves fans in watching that. The reality is this is a good team, a lot of good players. I don't think anybody's concerned at all.
Yeah, still 20-11 overall is Atlanta, but a game behind the Phillies because the Phillies have won 15 out of 18. Hit hard, but Mookie Betts makes the play. 3 groundouts to the left side in the top of the second.
Launch angle right around 0 degrees, so he's keeping the ball on the ground with it. And how about the average exit velocity, just 80 miles per hour? That's the lowest of any starting pitcher on their 4-seam fastball. And he goes curveball right out the chute there. So.
Of course, he obviously wasn't in our production meeting today before the game, but it's fine. We'll be okay with it. But it is amazing to see, and when he is at his best, keeps the baseball on the ground. Low exit velocity has been one of the best in the game for a long time. I think the thing that's surprising about those numbers that Wiley just shared with us, it's that it's the 4-seam fastball that he's getting the ground balls with, and the fact that it's cutting. It's one thing if it had a natural arm side run, and you could say, okay, guys, get it off the end of the bat. There's your ground balls. But 4-seamers more often than not are going to be a swing and miss pitch, and the ball is going to be in the air. So it's a really unique fastball with good velocity that Max brings to the table.
He has Andy Pages here 1-2. Pages is just on an amazing stretch in his first couple of weeks in the bigs, and in this series he's 6 for 10. He had the game-winning hit on Friday, and then he had a home run yesterday. And Fried gets a call on the outside corner. Pages did not like the call from Corey Blazer. There is 1 away.
Well, that worked out better for what we were just talking about. This was that 4-seam fastball, and here's the cut that Wiley was mentioning. You can see the way that Chadwick Trump caught that baseball. And quite honestly, I feel like it caught a little bit more of the plate than it even looks like there. But that is the movement. It looks like a backdoor 4-seam fastball if there was ever such a thing.
That one found the bat of Rojas. Ozzie has to hurry. He does. And quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
By the way, with that non-walk plate appearance there for Pages, He is now in 4th place all alone in Dodger history with the most plate appearances to start a career without a walk at 71.
Well, who has the record?
A guy from 90 years ago
What?
named Ray Barris.
Wilter Sterling or something? What was it?
In 73. Ray Barris, Berres. He's in some pretty special territory right now, at least for Dodger history. The record is 110 plate appearances. That's Zach Taylor. That was over 2 seasons. So this is getting pretty special here for Pages.
Yeah, he is aggressive. Well, that corner is being called by Corey Blazer. Let's see if Max Fried can continue to take advantage. Fried trying to get a 1-2-3 bottom of the 2nd, and he's got it. Curveball takes care of Taylor. Couple of strikeouts as Fried sets him down in order and sends us to the 3rd. Of official jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more, gear up with the Atlanta Braves at MLBshop.com. Temperature is supposed to top out at 70 degrees this afternoon. It's a very Southern California day here on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Good day for fajitas and Ritas. As Adam Duvall digs in and fouls it out of play.
So we had some good breakfast tacos today. Compliments of Oral Hershiser. Very nice of him to help out the visiting TV booth. I don't know if breakfast tacos necessarily fall under the big celebration. We did have corn tortillas, so I felt that was a little authentic.
Yeah, it was a good way to start the day. Appreciate them sharing with us. Adam Duvall, first start of the series, and he has his first hit. A solid line drive single to center field.
He continues to do great work here against lefties. 8 for 30 coming into this one. Both of his home runs against left-handed pitchers. That is why he is on this roster. That's why he is in the lineup. And he does it against that knuckle curveball from James Paxton.
This ball is grounded to short, deep in the hole. Double play. 6-4-3. Betts started it. Rojas turned it. And just like that, Duvall and Trump are eliminated.
Slow developing play here, but a couple of slower runners on the base passes. We're going to watch Mookie Betts go to his right. It's a really nice throw for the guy, of course, is a Gold Glove caliber outfielder. The transition has been really smooth for him. He's gone unnoticed, which I think is kind of a good thing, right? Defensively, nothing has stuck out. Heads up, there's a balloon coming in our booth right now.
It's close. It might make it in here. You ready?
I'm like, oh, what the?
It made a left turn for Albuquerque.
Is that thing on a remote control or something? Like I was going to land in my lap.
Total fake out.
Never seen that, ever. Well, not that I've been doing games that long, but
by the way,
about 10 years.
I don't see a single other balloon in the entire stadium. I don't know where it came from, but here we are. Now Ronald Acuna ball in 2 strikes.
Much more confidence that I could handle the balloon over a foul ball that comes up here with a little bit of heat.
You don't get many foul balls here in the booth. A little further back. Freddie Freeman had Acuna played perfectly. So a leadoff single, but nothing to show for it. Still 2-0. Hey, there's the balloon. Have some fun on Cinco de Mayo. Oh, so close yet so far. 6-game swing out west today. 2-3 games up in Seattle. Rays able to get one of those and now try to do the same here in game 3 of the series against the Dodgers. 9-1-2 scheduled. And Max Fried throws a strike to the backup catcher, Austin Barnes. Will Smith starting the last couple of games. Barnes getting the opportunity here on Sunday, and he bounces out to Austin Riley. Well, Max Fried to start the game went walk, 2-run homer, hit by pitch. Since then, he has retired the last 6.
And it's been either a ground ball or a strikeout. And as we talk about Max Fried and when he is going, that is what he does well. He knows how to keep the baseball on the ground. And Riley talked about that 4-seamer with some cut that does it, but it's not the only pitch. He really knows how to use that entire repertoire to make sure that the baseball stays on the ground as much as possible. His curveball and changeup have been amazing in that regard.
You mentioned he has pitched well here at Dodger Stadium, including a sizzling start last year here on September 1st when he tossed 7 scoreless and gave up 3 hits and struck out 10. And as always, when he pitches here, a lot of friends and family, including his parents, here at Dodger Stadium today.
Being a parent of an athlete, I think, is certainly tough enough as it is. And of course, whether it's amateurs, college, professional, you of course want your kids to do well. But there's something about having a pitcher in particular as a son, and to do it on this stage, that there's just an extra level of stress that parents experience.
Mookie Betts hits it to his counterpart at short, and Orlando Arcia makes quick work of him, 2 away. Well, I think, CJ, it's the one spot in sports where there's so much focus on you at all times, right?
Yep, there's definitely something different about what pitchers do, and obviously being involved in every single play when they're out there, as opposed to, if you're Michael Harris's folks or whoever it may be. Okay, he's going to get an at bat. Maybe we'll get a play this inning. Maybe, maybe not. But everything, of course, all that focus, like you said, all the eyeballs that are watching the game right now are looking at Shohei, and then they're looking at Max Fried.
Ohtani with a 2-run homer to center field in the first inning. That's the difference in the game right now. And Fried starts him off here 2-0. Finished his high school career, did Max Fried, at Westlake Harvard High School. Very well-known school. It's groomed a lot of athletes, a lot of baseball players here in Southern California. Big cut, 2-1. But when Fried was there, Lucas Giolito was there, Jack Flaherty was there as well. So 3 very good pitchers at the same time at that high school.
And was it Ethan Katz was the pitching coach who was still in Chicago, correct?
Correct.
But no state championship.
How about that?
I'd like an explanation for that one.
That high school is 14 miles from Dodger Stadium, where Max Fried finished his high school career.
Gotta believe there's worse places to go to high school than Santa Monica High School. It's probably a fun upbringing.
Two down, 2-2 pitch. Riley over, can't get there, so Shohei Ohtani goes the other way. He's got 2 hits today and 6 now in the series.
Something that we have seen here in particular in this series with Shohei Ohtani is his ability to cover all parts of the plate. If you remember the hit that he had against Raisel Iglesias that tied the game late, it was a changeup off the plate. He had a curveball that was up and into center field for a homer. That pitch is a 4-seam fastball cutting away from him, probably outside of the strike zone. And what's it going to say? He slapped it the other way, but look at that exit velocity. It's 97 miles an hour. He hit it the other way with authority.
This one a little softer and an easy play for Ozzie Albies. So a 2-out hit for Ohtani, but he is stranded. Here at Dodger Stadium, Brandon Gaudin, CJ Nitkowski, and Wiley Ballard with you. First pitch in the 4th, Ozzie Albies lifts it down the right field line. And on that line, Hernandez makes the catch. Austin Riley coming up. He's our Xfinity game changer here this afternoon. Riley walked back in the first inning. He does have 3 hits and a homer in the series.
And we talked a lot about leading up to kind of this week and things that have been going on for him. A lot of hard hit balls, not a lot of hits. And now, of course, it's starting to turn here for him, including that big home run that he hit in this ballpark. Like game 1 of this series, right?
Yep, both homers for Atlanta coming in that first game. He skies this. Shallow right center. Who's going to take it? Some communication issues, but ultimately Rojas is the one to grab it in front of Hernandez.
You can laugh about it when the play is made, but there's Rojas having maybe a little bit more of an intense conversation than you might expect. Good defensive player, good guy, good guy to have on your team, kind of bounce around. He can play some short third. Here he is at second, and I think maybe he was anticipating, because of how high it was, that Hernandez was going to get there. We should have played winter ball with him briefly. Miguel Rojas, Ozuna, and myself, and Eric Abreu were all on that team. Our bullpen coach here with Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, when I say briefly, briefly. I think I was gone pretty quickly.
But still, crazy to think all you guys played together on a winter ball team. Here's Matt Olson. Hit it to deep right his last time up in the first inning. He's 0 for 1.
We ran into Eric the other day. It was kind of funny. And he was like where we would be, in uniform, but in the hallways and kind of moving around the bottom of the stadium. He's like, where are you going? He's like, I got to get to the top of the stadium. And you get all the way to the top because there's it looks beautiful up there. And he had somebody who seemed like they wanted a picture from the very top of Dodger Stadium. He didn't seem all that thrilled about having to go do it because it's pretty high up there and it looks great. But he was in the elevator in full uni.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. It is high up there. It is, as you would expect, a stadium with just a ton of history. This is deep down the left field line off the bat of Matt Olson.
Wow.
And it is just foul. Not by much. So he almost hit a homer to right in the first inning and just missed one here down the left field line.
How far this ball goes. This is 360 feet down the line to the opposite field.
And now a 3-2 pitch. And that got a good piece of him. Appears to be okay.
So good swings here so far this afternoon for Matt Olson against James Paxton. Not surprising. We talked a lot about the struggles that he has had overall this year, but especially against the lefties, as you're going to see that ball foul off the foot of Matt Olson. They came in hitting .333 against him.
That came down pretty hard on that right foot, but thankfully Matt okay. Pops this into shadow left. Taylor over toward the line. He's got it. And James Paxton cruising through 4 innings. On the road since 2023 began 7-0 with a 2.20 ERA.
Yeah, always a good sign of a really good pitcher that you can pitch well when you're not at your home ballpark. And it's pretty much continued this year outside of that first game at Philadelphia where we saw Max struggle, could not get out of the first inning. And that game in Seattle where he threw 6 shutout, threw well against the Houston Astros in Houston. And then that game in Miami, 6 1/3 with just 1 run. So he's been good on the road again this year.
Of course, not many starts on the road last year because of the hamstring and then forearm injuries. Only 14 starts all told in 2023 with a 2.55 ERA for Max Fried. Cleanup hitter Teoscar Hernandez swinging through a changeup 1-1. Max Fried, who not only grew up here but used to wear number 32 in honor of Sandy Koufax, of course left-handed like Koufax was, and Max finally got to meet him 2018 when the Braves played the Dodgers in the postseason. Said it was one of the thrills of his career. And now he pitches under his number here at Dodger Stadium. Hernandez grounded out to short back in the first inning. He awaits a 2-2 pitch. And he gets him. Curveball. And Max Fried with his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon.
I think a pitch that Sandy Koufax will be proud of. Look at the break on this thing. That starts above the zone, finishes below it. Fun curveball to watch and very similar to another great lefty here in Los Angeles with Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw, who is on the IL right now for the Dodgers, hoping to make a second half return this season. Dodgers will get Walker Buehler back tomorrow. Going to make his season debut, scheduled to against the Miami Marlins. Big deal for them. He's been out for almost 2 years.
Yeah, it has been brutal. They thought at one point that he was going to make his way back last season. He was throwing off the mound toward the end of the year. Didn't happen. They didn't have him for the postseason, and then a delay to start this year. But a guy that is set to be a free agent at the end of the year, they want to make sure he's strong and ready to go, and it sounds like he's there.
So their rotation, if he stays healthy, gets a little bit better for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
probably not a bad idea to have him go against the Marlins instead of the Braves for his first start.
Yeah, ease him in a little bit. Marlins here for 3 starting tomorrow. The Braves will have tomorrow off before the Red Sox come to town on Tuesday. High and inside to Hernandez, and the count runs full. Payoff pitch from Fried. Grounded to third. Nice play by Riley. Nice throw by Riley. Well done by Austin Riley at third base. 2 outs.
This is a tremendous play over at third for Austin. He's going to get a little hop that becomes somewhat of a challenge. Watch the high hop there. He's sliding, and he played it perfectly in the glove. And then he made that decision to get the ball in there in the air, which is also a big time move on his part. You have that kind of internal clock, and had he bounced that throw, Kike Hernandez might have been able to beat that one out.
Certainly Max Fried appreciates the efforts of the all-star third baseman. Kike Hernandez both times has hit it to Riley, once on that play and then also on the double play that he hit into back in the first inning.
You know, the long throw that he could have opted for is the safe play, which a lot of infielders will do when they know they're running out of time. But Austin stepped up and fired a bullet in the air.
Pages struck out looking in the second inning. And he's down here 1-2. Doesn't look like he's going to get that walk here, CJ.
You know, I get a little reluctant because I thought we almost jinxed it yesterday. Not that that exists. But I'm with you. Feeling pretty confident here with a 1-2 count. Max Fried on the mound.
He's swinging at a ball out of the zone there on the slider. He does have a 10-game hit streak going. This is just the 17th game of young Andy Pages' major league career. And Pages will not walk. He will strike out again. 1-2-3 bottom of the fourth for Mr. Fried.
To you by Hyundai, and taking a look at the Atlanta Braves, we dig a little bit deeper on their average exit velocity, their hard hit rate. Those are the best in Major League Baseball. Average home run distance. Of course, we know there is pop in those bats. We haven't seen it a lot. I think those first 2 numbers suggest some of that bad luck that we were talking about. And I get it, fans and players don't want to hear about it, but the reality is that the quality of the at-bats have been pretty good. They're hitting the ball hard, more than anybody else in the game.
We'll see if they can try to parlay that into some runs here. Right now being shut out 2-0 in the 5th inning. James Paxton, 50 pitches through the first 4 innings, 35 of them strikes, and now he's got a 2-ball 1-strike count here on Marcell Ozuna.
I'd like to take issue a little bit about how that was presented to us today in our little pregame email.
Okay.
We're going to go Hyundai inside the numbers.
Marcell Ozuna finds the outfield grass. That'll be a leadoff single here in the 5th inning.
I will take that hard hit ball right on time from Marcell. An opportunity maybe as we go second time through the order for the Braves to get on James Paxton. They've let him off the hook so far. That one inner third there. He does a good job turning on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. But my issue was this. It was presented to us as numbers from Nikowski's Nerd Lab.
Wow.
That's how we were going to treat the Hyundai inside the numbers segment today.
Well, let's workshop this. How do you feel?
Slightly insulted, but also I appreciate it, I guess, to some degree. A little bit of both.
Yeah, I'm just glad there's a hardworking gentleman like yourself that's coming up with his own stats for the graphics, you know?
Happy to help. It's always a team effort.
Gretchen also called Wiley a part of the Nerd Lab, so I'm guessing I'm next.
Party of 2. We got room for you. There's lots of room in the lab.
Is the water warm?
The only thing you're not going to like is actually coffee only to keep us awake.
Oh, yeah. Well, then we got real problems. Orlando reaches for it out to center field. Pages shielding the sun. Boy, that was tough, but he does make the catch. That gives you an idea, though, at 2 o'clock here Pacific, how difficult that sun can be.
And we saw it in left field as well with Chris Taylor on a ball that he kind of chased down the line a little bit. Then we had the other pop up with Miguel Rojas. And you're right, though. I mean, you can see how high the sun is in the sky this afternoon, I should say. And Pages with the glasses and the glove and just barely pulling that one in.
Another great crowd today at Dodger Stadium. At over 50,000 game 1 of the series, about 45,000 yesterday here at the ballpark. Michael Harris bounces it foul, 1-1. Well, Wiley, you've got more on Michael Harris.
Yeah, we've been monitoring how he's improved his approach against lefties, right, and his numbers have gotten a little better. I asked him, does he felt more comfortable now in his 3rd year at this level? He said the biggest adjustment he's made against left-handed pitching is treating them like they're righties, not trying to make them into superheroes or some impossible task. He says it's really helped his presence in the box.
Sends this out to center field. Pages fooled, but he is able to recover and make the catch 2 away. So Michael Harris hits it pretty well, but nothing to show for it.
Again, going back to what we just talked about to kick off this inning and what the Braves have done with hard contact.
That's the difference. Since then, though, Max Fried has really settled in. He's got the bottom 3 in the Dodgers order here in the home half of the 5th. CJ's bringing out the Neuro Gum, powered with natural caffeine.
And all those vitamins. It's feeling like it's about time. Trying to mix it up here a little bit. Again, we have absolutely nothing to do with what goes on the field, but like, I don't know about you. Friday, vanilla ice cream.
Yes.
Braves lost. So I'm like, all right, chocolate yesterday.
Okay.
Negative. Now you would have thought, oh, you do swirl today? No ice cream today was the play, with the idea that would help the club out. It's not working.
Ozzie Albies throws to first. 1 away. Let's peek inside CJ's quote-unquote nerd lab here.
There we go. I look a little younger there, actually, than I feel, at least.
CJ Einstein. I love it.
I don't know about all that, but it's fun. I appreciate it. We do what we can, but what we need is runs.
I think that the credit there goes to one Brandon Culpepper on our crew. He likes to get creative in a lab of his own with the graphics and images.
We'll find a way to get him back.
Well, I do appreciate that you went no ice cream today, although I think swirl may have been the play. So I say if the Braves but I think if the Braves haven't scored after 6, we're going to send you in there to get the swirl.
We better make sure that machine is still up and running.
I think it runs through the game. If not, we're going to plug it back in. There's a strike to Chris Taylor. I think it was Vin Scully who said it better be plugged in for all 9 innings. In case he needed a late inning pick-me-up here during his historic long run as the voice of the Dodgers. Downstairs 1-2. So neat walking around the park before the game, though, and seeing all of the memorabilia, the history of this place. And they have several areas dedicated just to Vin Scully and his amazing career. It's really something. Swing and a miss. Change up takes care of Chris Taylor. 2 away.
Good pitch here, perfectly located with this changeup. Got a little movement to it, going down, running away from the right-handed hitting Taylor. You're not going to throw in a better spot than that for Max Fried, who, again, has it been since that hit by pitch? It has been all ground balls and strikeouts.
He has really refocused since the first 3 batters of the game. Now he's got Austin Barnes at the bottom of this Dodgers order. Barnes been with the Dodgers his entire career since 2015, but he's always really been that secondary catcher. Never started over 62 games in a season in his career here.
And now with the big contract that they signed Will Smith to, that likely continues for him, and kind of a glove guy first, I think. And generally, if you're a backup catcher, you do one of two things well. You either can hit or you can catch. And more often than not, now the way that the game has moved, they want the guys that can catch.
His 9th start of the season, but yeah, Will Smith getting the day off. He inked that 10-year, $140 million extension back on March 27th, which was the day before his 29th birthday. Nice little birthday present. Count evens up.
So what makes that contract interesting, you said 10 years. I didn't realize he was 29 years old already. And so you think of, okay, well, 10 years for a catcher, is he really going to catch? Well, the problem is you have a DH that is locked up to a 10-year contract as well. And would he really be catching at 38, 39 years old? That remains to be seen. But perhaps for the Dodgers, going a little extra longer, we've seen this trend in the game to bring that average annual value down to the contract, the per year average, which helps out on some luxury tax potentially. Who knows what's going to be going on in 10 years.
Missing outside with a 3-2 fastball. Fried walks Austin Barnes. A quick message now from Texas Pete.
Texas Pete. Sauce like you mean it.
Top of the order, Mookie Betts. A walk and a ground out for Betts, and another ground out here. That's how you win 3 Gold Gloves as a pitcher right there, folks. On to the 6th. And the results, well, they speak for themselves.
Pretty good form. Now, originally they said had his shirt off, but because he hadn't been in the sun so long, it was just too blinding for the camera, so they put it back on.
But when the shirt was off and he was lifting weights at Muscle Beach, they say that the women were just coming in flocks.
And this is regular speed, you guys said, right?
Yes, that's not slowed down. That is Wiley's sprint. Chadwick Trump fouls it back, and it's 2-1. Does Wiley want to defend himself? Is his mic open? There he is.
I mean, I'm not sure I can defend myself if it's all truth. I mean they were coming in flocks to laugh at me, and then I saw a beached whale out there, so I thought I had a chance to kind of recreate the magic of George Costanza.
Oh, yeah, the old marine biologist episode. Chadwick Trump gives this a ride to left center field, but Paez is over there in the gap, and there's one away. Do we have the footage of Wiley actually doing pull-ups and all the other stuff at Muscle Beach?
No, because I didn't actually accomplish a pull-up.
Oh, well, I want to see you trying, though. I feel like that's,
okay, yeah.
I feel like that's part of the fun.
Let's see what Sean Farnham's got.
If you missed it yesterday, we showed Wiley. He had his caricature also done after his trip to the beach, and the resemblance was just uncanny. Back to the top of the order. Ronald Acuna is 0 for 2 today.
We were talking about Ronald in the pregame show today, and him swinging much better bat here lately. The overall numbers, you can see that batting average kind of on the rise, and the OPS coming with it. But so far this season, when he reaches base safely at least 2 times in a game, the Braves are 16-4.
That's a pretty telling stat.
Yeah, 4 and 7 when he doesn't get on base at least 2 times. And you go back over the last couple of years, same kind of thing. Winning percentage nearly .740 for the Braves when that happens.
Well, he gets on base here for the first time in Game 3 of the series.
There we go. Since the beginning of 2022, how about that record right there? 132 and 47. Now still respectable, but 10 games over when it's 1 or fewer times for Ronald. And it's not as if he's just kind of any old leadoff hitter that's trying to get on base. Of course, he does a lot of damage at the very top of the order. And it makes a difference. And the Braves are blessed here with as many stars as they have up and down the lineup. But the guy that's getting it done at the top, the MVP, has had a monster impact when things are going well.
And of course, everybody knows how good he is on the base paths. He can create so much trouble. Over 70 stolen bases last year. And 14 so far this season, third best in baseball.
1 for 3 against Paxton so far for base stealers, but Austin Barnes 0 for 7 when it comes to throwing out base stealers.
Ronald stays put, and Ozzie chases a knuckle curve that came down and in, and there are 2 outs.
Pretty good breaking ball here. It's outside of the strike zone. We know, of course, that Ozzie is going to be aggressive in everything that he does. He usually, of course, has been crushing lefties for a long time, but and it's twice now that Paxton has got him on the curveball.
3 strikeouts total for Paxton, 2 of them by Ozzie. Now Austin Riley stands in. But Paxton, 35 years old. He's had 7 seasons with Seattle over 2 stints, a couple of years with the Yankees. Mentioned the Tommy John issue where he pretty much missed 2 full seasons. Last year he was in Boston. And he's getting Riley to fly out to Pages here in center. His first season with the Dodgers going pretty well right now. He has a shutout against Atlanta through 6. The wind has picked up since the start of this game, and it is blowing in from center and sometimes across the field from left to right. The wind wasn't as heavy in the first inning when Shohei Ohtani hit that 2-run blast to center field, and those are the only runs in the game so far.
I think that fly ball that we saw to end the inning there off the bat of Austin Riley, a good indicator of what was going on with that wind. Pages has been busy out there in center field, and the ball's been moving around a couple different ways so far today.
But since that homer that Fried gave up to Shohei Ohtani, just 1 hit for the Dodgers and only a couple of base runners.
There's always been the talk about the ball that carries better here right during the day than it does at night. But I went and I looked, and since 2010 at this ballpark, it's been nearly identical as far as the home runs per game.
So you think it's a myth?
Maybe. I mean, you know, you get it in your mind as a player, especially, and you believe it, and other guys will talk about it. But, I mean, the numbers, and I prefer to do a really big sample size in those situations based on what kind of offense you've had, what kind of pitching staff. Like, to do that even over a year or 2 might not be a good indicator. So you're talking about, you know, thinking about, what, 14, 15 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani has another hit. 3 today, 7 in the series. Well, newsflash, this guy's good.
And again, as we've talked about here, the plate coverage. Look how far off that plate, the ball is off the plate. Now, slightly elevated gives him a chance, but he is doing such an excellent job right now. When you're locked in, hitters will talk about this. And you see that reaction from Max Fried to say, well, what else can I throw him? Right? He goes, that wasn't a great curveball he threw him in his first at-bat where he hit the home run, but those were a couple of good left-on-left pitches that Ohtani is turning into base hits.
That's one where Max just has to tip his cap. Now Freddie Freeman. That comes in on the hands. It's rolled right to Ozzie, to Orlando. But safe at first is Freddie Freeman, despite Olsen stretching and trying to get the double play.
Not quite hit hard enough to get this double play. You can see in on the hands there and how slow that ground ball went to Ozzie. He gave it everything he had. You get the really good arm from Orlando over at short, but they just ran out of time. But you appreciate the effort, and you certainly do as a pitcher. A lot of times you might get a shortstop that just goes and receives that ball like a first baseman, knowing he has no chance to turn it. But those two are always going to try.
Teoscar Hernandez is 0 for 2.
So who's had a better look at Max Fried's move to first base than Freddie Freeman? Now, he has seen it the most times. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I did find it very interesting that last year he stole 23 bases. His career high as a Brave was 10. They ran him a lot more last year here in Los Angeles.
And would assume some of that due to the rule changes last year as well.
No doubt, as we saw, stolen bases and the success rate jump pretty significantly last year.
But that is a big jump to go from 10 as a career high to 23.
Especially as you get older.
Yes, 34 now, 33 last year, Freddie Freeman. Center field into the teeth of the wind, but through the wind and into the seats. A 2-run homer for Hernandez, and it's 4-0 Dodgers.
Curveball here from Max, and you can see it right there in the middle of the plate. He wants it down a little bit further. He had a very aggressive hitter in Teoscar Hernandez. He will chase that pitch outside of the strike zone, which I think is where Max was trying to go, bottom or below, and couldn't quite get it there, unfortunately.
Hernandez now has 2 homers in the series. Ohtani has 2, and then Max Muncy had the 3-home run game yesterday. So those guys have put a few dents in the baseballs here this weekend at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers collectively 46 homers on the season, and that leads all National League teams. Well, Max Fried's really only made a couple of mistakes, CJ, but when you face a lineup like this, guys like Ohtani and Hernandez, they'll make you pay.
And I think we noticed it throughout the series. I know yesterday's game got away from the Braves and saw some big numbers for the Dodgers. But that first game, some of the games we saw in Seattle for this road trip, when you're playing teams with either really good offenses or, in the case of even the Mariners, really good pitching staffs, it's going to be just a couple of things that we'll look at when the game is over that made the difference one way or the other. And so far today, it's been 2 curveballs. That wasn't a terrible one, but still wasn't his best. And then the one to Shohei was one that hung a little bit.
Hernandez twice has grounded out to Austin Riley. He hits this one foul.
And that's what makes this game so cruel, because the base hit that Shohei Ohtani had was a good pitch, right? We kind of joked a little bit about the expression that we saw from Max Fried to say, well, where else can I throw that pitch? And so it's a base hit to a good hitter on a good pitch, but then the curveball, and here we are 86 pitches into his outing, and he'll look at 2 pitches that he might regret a little bit. Almost seems unfair.
Called strike on the inside. Kike Hernandez was disgusted at the call, but he is back to the dugout, 2 away.
I think this is where the cut on that fastball comes into play, maybe looking a little bit further in than when it actually crossed the plate. It might have been off a little bit. She said 2-seam fastball, but it still had some of that movement going left to right.
6 strikeouts now for Max Fried. The 7 that he had in Seattle to start this road trip is his season high. Again, against Seattle, he had a no-hitter through 6, but he was at 100 pitches, so he got removed from the game. He's at 88 pitches right now. That is in there, and Pages is quickly down 0-2. Fried deals, and he strikes him out on 3 pitches. But a 2-run homer by Hernandez doubles the Dodger lead. Minnesota win streak since the '91 season. And speaking of the Boston Red Sox, that's who the Braves will play on Tuesday. 6:30 Eastern will go on the air back at Truist Park over on Bally Sports South and the Bally Sports app, all presented by our friends at Truist. Matt Olson to right center field, and this one is going to get by Hernandez. Olson heads for second. Tag is applied, and he is out. And that, unfortunately, is kind of how things have gone here in Los Angeles for the Braves.
Well, first of all, it's a good swing. We've seen quite a few today for Matt Olson. And you see head down right on this baseball, 93-mile-an-hour four-seamer. But Hernandez has got himself a strong arm out there. You've seen him in the 90s with his throws, and that one on the money. Third assist of the season for Teoscar Hernandez.
I think Marcell Ozuna's backswing may have gotten a piece of Austin Barnes there. Remember last year in Atlanta, it was when Will Smith was catching that Ozuna's backswing hit the catcher. And they would have a couple of words. It was more Will Smith talking to Marcell Ozuna.
There's always no intent here as he goes after that high fastball, but you get the one arm finished from Marcell, and so because of that, it is a lengthy and kind of deep follow through. But you know that going in, and I've always felt, regardless of the situation, that that's on the catcher. You kind of got to know your guys that are going to be long. There's no intent. And I feel like it's on the catchers to adjust accordingly.
Yeah, that was the same conversation we had last year when Will Smith took issue with it, and he knew, everybody knows the scouting report. Marcell Ozuna sends this in the air, deep right center field. Does it have enough? It does. Solo homer, Marcell Ozuna. He's tied for the major league lead in that category now with 10, and Atlanta is on the board.
This is a big boy home run from the Big Bear to the opposite field. You talked about some of that wind. Now it looks like it might be pushing a little bit out to right field, but look at him go up and get high velocity here up above the strike zone, something he did so well a year ago. You can't get those by him with much consistency. 104 off the bat there for Marcell Ozuna.
Dodger Stadium booed, and then the fan who caught the ball threw it back into right center field. But it still counts as a homer for the Big Bear, and it's 4-1. Well, maybe that'll jumpstart this Braves offense here. Of course, the pitching sequence could have been different, CJ, but you think about if Matt Olson could have been at first or second base, would have been nice to have that extra run.
Yeah, kind of the second time in this series that we've seen a mistake on the base pass end up costing the Braves. We saw it in, was that game one where Ronald had gotten on, they got picked off, and Austin hit his homer.
3 straight hits for Atlanta. Orlando Arcia singles to the left side, so James Paxton is proving human here in the 7th inning.
I think we thought the Braves were going to get to him a little bit quicker, but they're doing it now. There's a good look at the changeup, and good job by Orlando. The hands stay back long enough, even though you're going to be fooled by the speed of the pitch. He stays on it, gets most of the barrel to it, and lots of pressure right now on James Paxton.
See if Michael Harris can continue things. Left center. Pages is over, though, to grab it. Tries to rifle back towards first, but Arcia gets back. Pages showing that strong arm, though. Well, that's a couple of times Harris has hit it to left center, but doesn't have anything to show for him.
Yeah, 103 off the bat last time. This time 107 for Michael. And there's nothing you can do about it. Again, I think the approaches have been good. We've highlighted it. Just kind of wears you out a little bit over time.
Saw Joe Kelly warming up. I think Dave Roberts is sensing that James Paxton has hit the wall a little bit, and he's going to head to the bullpen here with 2 outs in the 7th. Will come out of that Dodger bullpen. Remember to stay tuned. Coming up, the stretch presented by Georgia Natural Gas when we hit between the top and bottom of the 7th inning.
So you get a big arm from Joe Kelly with this fastball that'll get up to 100 miles an hour at times. And good strikeouts for him so far this year. A lot of ground balls as well for Joe Kelly. This bullpen in general, though, has not done a great job when they have inherited runners. 41% of them have scored. The average is usually around 32 or so percent.
He inherits Orlando Arcia down at first base and misses outside with a knuckle curve. 2-0 here to Adam Duvall. There's 99 in there for a strike from number 99. As you told the story yesterday or 2 days ago, Shohei Ohtani now has number 17 that Kelly used to have, and he got a Porsche in exchange for that jersey swap.
I don't know if he's allowed to drive it. The gift was to Joe Kelly's wife, who made the big push to get Shohei Ohtani in a Dodger uniform.
I feel like he should at least get it once a week when he's home, right? Take it on the highway, let it rip for a little bit. 3-1 to Duvall. That's tough. Should have been ball 4, 3-2.
That's a big one in a big spot, and you can see Adam Duvall having that conversation right now with the home plate umpire. You're trying to put this good at bat together in a big spot, and you can see it there. Corey Blazer calling that pitch, even though it was off the plate.
Two down. Here's the payoff pitch from the hard-throwing right-handed reliever. Swing and a miss. Instead of a walk, Duvall ultimately strikes out. Braves do get one, and we head to the stretch. Defense back behind Max Fried as he will return for the 7th inning. There's the 91st pitch, and fittingly it's at 91 miles an hour, and a strike to Miguel Rojas.
A season high of 100 pitches last time for Max Fried in those 6 shutout innings that he threw against the Seattle Mariners.
And why not bring him back out at 90 pitches, right? Bullpen a little tags. You know what Max Fried can do. See if he can get 3 quick outs here.
Yeah, I think he certainly has been comfortable again outside of the struggles that he had against the 2 curveballs, one to Shohei Ohtani, one to Teoscar Hernandez. You also have the bottom of the order. And he's 0 for 5 so far with 1 walk.
When Max Fried was born here in LA, I mentioned it was back in 1994. It was on January 18th, and it was just hours after a huge earthquake. So just a couple of hours after that, his mom Carrie goes into labor. Well, everyone is kind of in a tizzy because of the huge earthquake. So his parents are driving around worried, looking for a hospital to be able to deliver Max. And ultimately, after the delivery, his parents had to leave the hospital just 6 hours after Max was born because officials were concerned that the hospital might collapse.
Wow.
Because it was unstable from the earthquake. So quite a tumultuous entry into the world for Max Fried.
That is an amazing story, and Mom should be celebrated in a big way every Mother's Day after that.
Absolutely. Line drive to center, but Michael Harris picks it up. And there is one away in the bottom of the 7th.
It's kind of like birthdays too. I always feel like, you know, we get celebrated on our birthdays, but we didn't do anything. Mom did all the work. That should kind of be a reminder of that day for Mom, and especially when you have that kind of birth and all those circumstances surrounding them.
I'm with you. And all Dad did was, you know, he was there when it happened, and then at the end he's just there saying, "Good job, honey." That's such little contribution we make to the world, CJ.
Just stay out of the way is pretty much what it comes down to. I told you I was 2 for 3. I missed my 3rd son. I was in Miyazaki, Japan when he was born, and I still hear about it 16 years later. Hey, remember when I gave birth by myself?
And you say, "I do," and I was there in spirit. And I'll be there every day from now until eternity, honey. Time is called here. Chadwick Tromp's got to get the PitchCom device working again. It is listed as a sellout today at Dodger Stadium, by the way. It's the best crowd of the 3 games. 4th sellout of the season here at the old ballpark.
That's a great view that you get there too, coming in from center field at what essentially looks like kind of the 4 decks that they have. It's 3 levels, but the way that it looks with that kind of 4th center field deck or above home plate. That's a good view that they have here in Los Angeles.
Center field to Michael Harris. Gonna have to charge late, wind blowing in, but he's got it. 2 outs. Max Fried at 98 pitches as we get a quick message from Zaxby's.
Zaxby's now has fried shrimp, and it comes with all new Zax's tail sauce. Can I get a...
Well, Well, let's see if Fried can get through 7. He's got the 9th batter in the order here, the catcher, Austin Barnes. Fifth start in a regular season game here for Max Fried at Dodger Stadium in his career. 2 home runs, and obviously those are big, but outside of that he has pitched well. The 2 mistakes, so 1 to Ohtani, the 2-run homer in the first inning, and then Hernandez with a 2-run blast in the 6th. One and 2 to Barnes. Quite a view.
You said that was Mount Olympus in the background?
I think that was Mount Rainier.
Oh, Rainier.
Yeah. This wasn't. We're joking. It's a little hat tip to a mistake made up in Seattle.
I still don't know which is which, if that makes you feel any better.
They're both tall.
Okay.
Rainier's taller. 2-2. Downstairs full count. Well, that's actually Mount Fuji beyond the center field wall. 103 pitches for Fried. Let's see if he can end this day on number 104. Into the wide. Just missed. We'll see if Brian Snitker lets him face Mookie Betts or if he goes to the bullpen here. Well, it's going to be Rick Kranitz that comes out, so that typically would indicate that Fried is going to stay in the game.
It's kind of interesting there. Austin Barnes, did you see him look back after that pitch? It looked like it was pretty far outside, but we have seen Corey Blazer call that pitch off the plate, and obviously he's been behind the plate all day, including that one to Adam Duvall last inning, and so he was kind of double checking even though he felt like it was a ball. That'll give you an idea of just kind of what the strike zone has been like here this afternoon. I'd say clearly a ball, but watch Austin Barnes. Double check, okay. I don't know if Corey Blazer maybe loved that so much.
You are watching Hyundai Sunday here on Valley Sports. Braves down 4-1. Max Fried, they're going to leave him out there to face the top of the order and Mookie Betts. A.J. Minter is loosening in the pen. Like this decision, though, to give Max another batter here?
I mean, matchup-wise, they didn't have anybody up when the inning started, so I felt like they were confident getting through at least 4 hitters and thinking about how much time somebody like A.J. Minter would need to get ready. The 4th time through, there's always some risk involved, but I think you look at something like this, the velocity still has been good. You don't see necessarily signs of fatigue within the mechanics from Max Fried. Still really good spin on his breaking ball, and so I think for Snit, who more often than not leans on that side of giving his starting pitchers an extra opportunity, makes some sense that he's giving Max this chance right here.
96 again, but that one misses. 2 balls and a strike.
And the Braves have really done an excellent job against Mookie Betts in this series. The one hit that could have been an error and a couple of walks, and that has been it here so far.
Grounder to third. Austin has it off the high chop. And Max Fried does get through 7. Atlanta trailing by 3 as we march to the 8th.
Well, Brandon, a big part of being a Major League Baseball player, right, is getting the cool gear, your custom stuff. So I looked at Jared Kelenich's cleats. They are, as you see, American flag styled. And I asked Jared, did you have them custom made? Did you pick out the design? He said, no, I actually got them from some random guy on eBay over the offseason. So eBay is the thrift shop for baseball cleats at the Major League level.
Wow.
And how cool for random guy.
Yeah.
Did he even know where he was sending them?
That's the thing. This guy has no idea that his cleats are now featured every night on TV.
Exactly.
They are pretty cool.
Really cool for sure. Also gives you a good shot there of the batter's box that they have here at Dodger Stadium. If you notice how thin the lines are, far and away the thinnest in all of Major League Baseball. There was a story about, I guess, 2008, 2009 about it. You can see how thick the lines are going to first base, and that's what most batters' boxes look like. But there was a hitter that asked that they go a little bit thinner. He felt like they were a distraction. They were too big, too thick, and so they changed it back around 08, 09, and they've left it ever since.
It does stick out. I mean, as soon as you get here and you see him line the field, well, that does look different than every other ballpark. 3 balls and a strike here to Kelenic.
Blake Treinen, how about this? First appearance since September of 2022. He was activated before the game today. Evan Phillips went on the IL with a hamstring issue.
And he inherits a 3-run lead in the 8th, and now a 3-2 count on Kelenic.
When he has been healthy, he has been really good and dominant at times. He's dealt with some significant injuries. It's a slider and a cutter, a 2-seam and a 4-seamer that would sit 97, 98 miles an hour a couple of years ago.
A big moment for him, and he gets a big first out. They will have to throw down to first, and they do. And there's one away in the 8th. Georgia Natural Gas spotlights Ronald Acuna today. He's our Greener Life Impact player. Last 4 road series spanning 11 games, a 383 average for Acuna.
The 7 stolen bases in there as well. The runs scored. He's been making things happen in those last 4 series for sure.
And Blake Treinen, there's that live fastball. Just like the starting pitcher today, James Paxton. Treinen is 35 years of age.
He had an all-star season back in 2018 in which he threw 80 in the 3rd innings and posted a 0.78 ERA. It was an incredible year that he had dealt with some injuries, some struggles after that. And then in 2021, 1.99 ERA, and some domination from this right-hander. Again, when he is on and he is healthy, he's nearly unhittable.
His catcher Austin Barnes wants to talk to him. Now, that all-star season came with Oakland back in 2018. Let's get a quick message in here from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
Grounded is short. Mookie Betts charging and makes a throw across. 2 outs. So Acuna 0 for 3 today with a walk. With this park being a little older, it's, you look in the National League now, it's actually the only park that is symmetrical in the outfield. It has outfield fence distances that are symmetrical from left to right.
Is that right? You said in the NL?
In the NL. There are 2 in the AL that have.
All right, don't tell me yet. Kansas City.
Yep.
And the Angels.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. They brought that in there in left center.
Treinen pitched for him, had an all-star season there.
Oh, that's right.
Oakland Coliseum. Albies flies out to center. On we go to the bottom of the 8th. Such a good sport.
He's been great. He's embraced it. He has been awesome. He's had a lot of fun, and his diet has changed significantly, certainly since he's taken this job.
But he hasn't put on any weight. Travis d'Arnaud comes in to catch, and A.J. Minter will pitch here for Atlanta.
17 strikeouts to 4 walks here so far for A.J. He's been great in that category. 4-seam fastball, cutter, and changeup.
Shohei Ohtani to straightaway center field. He has another one. 2nd of the day, 3rd of the series for Ohtani.
This one pretty impressive here. You see 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. And for Shohei Ohtani, he's going to watch this ball land 464 feet away from home plate.
That wind that was blowing in is blowing more left to right, but it's still coming in some from center field. And to hit that ball over 460 feet in these conditions, that is something. Well, I guess that's how you make $700 million. Now Freddie Freeman. He is something, you know, all the comparisons, and obviously not pitching this year, but all the comparisons to Babe Ruth. I never, CJ, as the calendar really flipped to the 2000s, thought there would be a two-way player again like that. But Shohei Ohtani is really something.
Yeah, he's the real deal. We'll see as far as the second elbow surgery and how he bounces back from a pitching standpoint next year. He's going through all of that rehab right now, but he has done both of those things at a really high level. And as long as he is healthy doing both things, he's a really tough guy to take the MVP away from, quite honestly. I saw him his first spring training when I was working for the Rangers. Was that 2018? He had such a bad spring hitting wise. I remember thinking, this guy's not going to be able to hit in the big leagues. He was late on 90-mile-an-hour fastballs, had really bad swings against lefties. Like, he just didn't look like he was going to be able to hang offensively, and I almost felt like he was working us. Because obviously that has not been the case.
Turned out okay for him.
Thinking, oh, maybe he'll just be a pitcher only, and that's fine too.
Teoscar Hernandez down the right field line. Wind is blowing this toward the foul pole, and it is foul just to the right of the pole.
And Teoscar thought that was a homer and started celebrating as if it was a home run, and he is expecting probably a crew chief challenge here from the umpires.
I think he may have an argument. So they will take a look at this. Hernandez already has a homer today. That came in the 6th inning. So hard to tell.
Yeah, and they were very quick to do the kind of crew chief review here. Obviously does not count as a challenge for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers. Well, you mentioned it, those flags are blowing really hard left to right here, and it felt like that was definitely affecting that ball. And it's bright out there. It's not an easy call for umpires. Where's the ball?
Oh, it is to the right.
That's a foul ball.
Yeah, foul ball. Great job by our crew to get that shot.
Thank you. Oh.
Oh, yeah, by you.
No,
yes.
I didn't do anything.
Not a great catch out there, but the sun is shining, so.
Yeah, the fact that the baseball never disappears tells you that that is a foul ball when you see the pole.
So assuming they get the look that we just had, it will stay 5-1, and it will be an 0-2 count on Hernandez.
Going back to that Ohtani conversation, though, you remember when he came over, because he was under 25 years old, he couldn't get that kind of free agent money, the really big contract. You know, had he waited 2 more years, he easily would have got $150 million, but he didn't want to do it that way.
Call on the field is confirmed. Foul ball.
Yeah, Ohtani, 5 All-Star seasons in Japan before coming over. You mentioned 2018, becomes the AL Rookie of the Year, and now 2-time MVP when he was with the Angels in 2021 and 2023.
Yeah, he played it perfectly, especially from a contract standpoint, but didn't cost the Angels very much at all. He kind of fell right in their lap. That's where he wanted to go. Instead of trying to cash in 2 years later, he waited 6 years later and cashed in a huge way here with the Dodgers.
10-year, $700 million deal that he signed on December 11th, largest contract in the history of professional sports. But again, as we were talking about 2 nights ago, what's so weird about it is that really right now he's only getting paid $2 million per year. I say only,
yeah,
but $68 million of that is deferred to the next decade. Ground ball weakly to first, and Matt Olson can't handle it. Teoscar Hernandez will be on second base.
We know how good of a defender Matt Olson is. This ball had a lot of funky spin on it as it was hit off of the end of the bat here. There was a changeup. And watch this. Feeling like it was going to keep going right, and then one more bounce, and Matt Olson thought he was going to get it. Those are tough, and just like kind of underneath or around the glove there for Matt Olson. Over the glove.
A.J. Minter will exit the game with a runner at second as the Braves go back to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 8th. So Jesse will face Kike Hernandez.
See numbers there for Jesse. He's been really good so far, and the 25th time now that he has pitched in this ballpark for a kid who grew up about an hour east of here. Of course, he pitched as a Dodger. This will be the 12th time that he's pitched as a visitor in this ballpark.
And he inherits a runner at second base with 1 out. Now Max Fried went 7, gave up 4. Then A.J. Minter came on here in the 8th, and now Jesse Chavez. Two balls and a strike.
So we've talked about Jesse's role in the bullpen. He went nearly 2 weeks without pitching, and now this is the 3rd time that he's pitched in the last 6 days. It's kind of feast or famine down there, especially when you're kind of considered to be that long man in the bullpen.
And he's got a 2-2 count on the third baseman.
The thing that was so amazing to me after he had not pitched for 2 weeks, he pitches against the Mariners in a tight game and hitting all his spots and looking really sharp, and he made that look a lot easier than it really is.
Hits a spot there. That is beautifully located on the inside corner to get Kike Hernandez.
Well, Kike was frustrated with a call in his last at-bat. This one, though, right on the corner, and a good-looking front door cutter here from Jesse Chavez. Just a little bit of movement to come in and catch that inside corner.
So 2 outs, and now here is Andy Pages, who has struck out 3 times today. Talked about how good he's been, and he has been since his call up in mid-April, but 3 Ks today. Swing and a miss. So the 40-year-old pitching to the 23-year-old here. Right center. It's going to hang in the air. And Michael Harris will go over to grab it. Braves will need 4 in the top of the 9th, starting with Austin Riley will lead things off. And the new pitcher is Michael Grove.
It's been an interesting season for this right-hander. You can see 12 games. He's only been scored upon in 4 of them. But every time he's been scored upon, it's been 3 or more runs every time. So it's pretty much been all or nothing against Michael Grove so far this season. Good strikeouts, 23 of those in his 19 innings.
And the 27-year-old reliever throws a slider in there. 0-1 to Austin Riley.
And far and away, that is the pitch that you will see the most here. 52% slider usage for Michael Grove. 65 against right-handed hitters.
So the Dodgers trying to get a sweep here of the Braves. These two teams will not meet again until the middle of September in Atlanta for a 4-game series, the 13th through the 16th of September. This is bounce foul, but would anticipate when these two teams meet then, both will be right in the thick of things, getting to a playoff run, and those games likely to mean a lot in Atlanta in mid-September. And a scheduling quirk coming up for the Braves. You go home, you get the day off, you go home for a couple against Boston, then you have a day off, you go back on the road to face the New York Mets.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a weird part here. More off days added to the schedule a couple of years ago, and so yeah, 2 off days in the same week. Somewhat odd, but you're coming off, of course, that West Coast trip. The Braves will get in late tonight, so the off day will come at the right time. like you said, hopefully getting the club back on track against the Red Sox, who were playing some really good baseball.
And there's a really good pitch from Michael Grove, and there is one out in the ninth.
Well, after we saw the slider and the cutter, it's a 95-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball at the very bottom of the strike zone.
Off the bounce, Rojas backing up into the outfield grass. Matt Olson is retired. Braves down to their final out here. And now the man responsible for the one run, Marcell Ozuna, who had the solo homer in the 7th inning. Smattering of boos as Marcell comes up, and that's because fans were upset that on his backswing his bat caught the helmet of the catcher Barnes. Those fans probably remembering the incident with he and Will Smith last year in Atlanta.
You mean the 50% that are still here?
Yeah. Some of them have opted to head out early. Grove with the 0-2 pitch. Downstairs, 1-2. Dodgers trying to make it 11-2 in their last 13 games. Ozuna swings through it, and for the first time this year, the Braves have been swept. It comes at the hands of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Offensively, not the series that we anticipated with this offense and how good they had been all year. This afternoon, though, in particular, every run that was scored in this game came via the home run. 3 for the Los Angeles Dodgers and just the 1 for the Atlanta Braves. But day off tomorrow and get to work against the Red Sox on Tuesday.